What's going on, everybody? This is your review for Real Housewives of Potomac Season 5, Episode 11. Really quickly, before I get into the review, I do want to say that starting tomorrow, so I'm trying to start working on today, but starting tomorrow, I'll be doing a series which is going to be a Road to the Crown Tundra for Pokemon Sword and Shield. So pretty much I'll be playing from the beginning with only bug types all the way through the...
Okay, I found...
And Siri is sitting his spine on me. That's not cool. Be playing through the entire thing with the Out of Armor and right up until when the Crown Tundra comes out, and then pick up from there. So hopefully you guys will check those videos out, do a little chit chat and whatnot, and we have some fun there. So get into this review. So Karen invites Ashley and Giselle to her homecoming back in her hometown. And who she really wanted to invite from the looks of it was Candace and Monique. But given what they recently just went through, couldn't really do that. And obviously you don't want to invite one without inviting the other because it creates a lot of tension. So she decides to invite Giselle and Ashley. I think part of that is a little bit of stunning, not necessarily on Ashley, but on Giselle. But of course, between the two of them, they have had a lot to say about her, so whatever. Let's see. Giselle approves the ring that Juan has picked out for Robin. Karen and the girls are getting ready to leave, so while they're in the house, Ray's response to everything that is being said by Karen and the girl is, oh, okay. So he's very, very not interested in anything that they have to say. Ashley says that she put a tracker of Michael's behind, and said it just slid right on in there, which that is shady as all get up. And I mean, hey, that's her husband, so she can make those comments, you know, it is what it is. But that kind of doesn't help the case. But hey, look, I guess if she gets the jabs in and she kind of takes some of that steam out, nobody can really say anything, I guess. As women are leaving, it seems like Ray, in essence, he says that he wasn't trying to rush them, but he really was. Karen goes to kiss him. He pretty much just does one of those, but doesn't kiss her, kind of like blows the kiss and then close the door. And Bravo shady ass showed the door closing 3 separate times from 3 different angles. That shit was hilarious. You have Candace and Robin. Robin tells Candace that Monique was not remorseful when they met up, and Candace begins to cry. Now, let me use my pen to indicate where my stop points are so I don't get too off track. One thing that is so interesting is you can clearly see that who does and who doesn't have a storyline. And you see this through any franchise, and it's not just the Real Housewives, but you see this through a lot of franchises where if someone does not have a storyline or a legit one, they attach themselves to someone else's storyline. So, okay, you're being the bone carrier. Okay, cool, because you have absolutely nothing to really talk about, and then also could be seen as a form of deflection. Well, Candace begins to cry, and one thing that is really throwing me off about this is I'm not saying that she doesn't feel sad about what has transpired between she and Monique. But, and I don't think I mentioned this in my last review because I was trying to cram 10 episodes into one video, but what I find to be interesting is between the Blue Eye Bandits, Candace, and I guess Wendy, it's a whole lot of trigger words being thrown out there and certain actions being done because, yes, they are trying to get Monique kicked off this show. They really, really are. And they're putting 20 on 10, and a lot of what they are saying, especially with Wendy, because I had a lot to say about Wendy in the last episode, in the last review that I did, because a lot of what she's saying is literally cloaked under the veil of quote unquote white supremacy, and saying stuff like that is typically what's not all, but some European Americans that want to defend certain acts. When you have someone from that same demographic, so an African American saying something against another African American, or a particular group within African Americans, it's easy for someone who is trying to quote unquote validate a fucked up point to sit here and, you know, hold up somebody's face like, well, look, this person said this. I mean, I didn't say it, but this is what this person said. So rather than, you know, having to confront their particular standpoint, they want you to sit here and argue against what someone else that happens to belong to your demographics has said. So I don't like that. But this is what's going on here, using, you know, certain trigger words and people being threatened and showing up with security and all these other different things, and sitting here and paint yourself as being so scared and so defensive. Like, that is nauseating. It really, really is. Well, anyway, Robin says she's upset Karen has not publicly condemned Monique, which is complete and utter bullshit. And I'm glad Bravo for the most part has been very unbiased with everything, where they're showing the flashbacks on every side, which is great. But Karen did. But this is one of those where obviously Robin, and probably she's probably mirroring echo what Giselle has said to her, what Robin, you know, didn't want to hear that. Or I probably should say Giselle didn't want to hear that. So Robin is going right along with her, you know, to keep her spot on this damn show. Candace is surprised because when she asked Karen what she would do, she said, without hesitation, press charges. And I know that a lot of people feel ways about that, but I don't. And this is why. Like I said, my friends ask me all, like, what, and my thing is, I'm all about how you phrase things. Because I've had some friends be like, what would you do? Or what should I do? Because these are two totally different things. If you ask me what you should do, I'm probably going to, you know, give you the best advice that's probably going to work itself out the best to reduce a lot of the bullshit. If you ask me what I would do, okay, well, because look, a lot of the times what I would do is probably not the best thing to do. More than likely, it's probably going to be some bullshit coming right along with it, you know, but it is what it is. I'm built for this shit. So I can understand. And here's the thing. It wasn't that Karen just volunteered this information. She was asked. And Candace did not ask her based off of her own admission, what should I do in this situation? Is, well, what would you do? And Karen has said that I would have pressed charges. And I even believe that she has said, I think like in another interview, that if that was me, I would have laid down on the floor with my hair all messed up the way that it was, called the police right then, and they would have seen me right then in that moment. And this is going to come up a little bit later, but of course, you know, Robin shot like, oh my gosh, can't believe she said it. But can you really fault someone for giving an honest answer? And again, the question wasn't, what should I do? But more or less, what would you do? Can't be mad at her. Shoot. Candace says that pressing charges is on the table, and you know, that she feels trauma, which I'm not saying that she doesn't, but that's just one of those where it seemed like we just putting 20 on 10. We're really trying to heighten this to make it something that it really isn't. But I could be wrong. Candace asked Robin about her back taxes. Her taxes, $90K in back taxes, which I don't know how to feel about that, because she appeared to come from a place of, you know, I'm just asking because, you know, I do care. But, I mean, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but this hasn't come up yet in the season. So this is the first time that is being introduced. So kind of makes me wonder why it was brought up. And even in her confessional, Candace's confessional, she made mention of the fact of how Robin went at Karen, saying, how do you not know that you owe this in back taxes? And Karen, I tell her, like, I don't owe nothing in back taxes. I don't, but still coming at her so aggressive because, again, let's really be honest. Within the last several seasons, what storyline has Robin Dixon had? It's very easy to sit here, take somebody else's situation, and go at them for that because you don't have a damn storyline. Again, I've been watching reality TV for well over 10 years. So, I mean, it's not a new hat trick, you know. And Robin says she forgot to, she got hit for not reporting, for unreported income that she forgot about. I ain't gonna say too much on that because look, any of us can sit here and get hit. I mean, here's the reality. I do my own taxes. but I'm not making the amount of money that she is making. At that point, yeah, I am more than likely going to be like, hey, pay somebody to do it. And I mean, I'm surprised she ain't hit up Candy, from Real Housewives of Atlanta, because Candy has said on the show, I am cheap, I am frugal, but you see Candy ain't getting hit up, so I'm just saying. And yeah. And one thing that I do want to bring up before I forget, as of right now, on this particular, and actually, I'm gonna jump ahead in time just to get Robin knocked out of the way, because Robin met with Juan doing some role play. He wasn't expecting it. She was Tatiana. I think she said lot. I forget exactly what she said, but I'm pretty sure she was referring to somewhere in Europe, probably around Russia. It was very cringy. She wasn't really committing to the character. Um, I'm not gonna sit here and talk about nobody fashions, because like I said, I'm very basic, and again, I can't really speak on women's fashion because that ain't my thing. But yeah, sweetheart, why you still had the tag on that? Like, why did you not tuck the tag? She still had the tag on that damn coat. But hey, she got her money issues. She gonna take it back. We can't act like we haven't done it or know somebody that did it. But damn, they have blasted your ass on fucking camera. And when she spoke with Juan about it, he pretty much said, that's on you. Because I've seen some reviews and people thinking that that's their shared stuff. No, because she said this is income that she has reported. They're not married, so there hasn't been a need for them to have to file their taxes together. So this is all on her. He made it clear, like, this is all on you. This ain't got nothing to do with me. So we'll see how that plans out for Robin Dixon. Is the fact that Karen hasn't brought it up, I respect her for it, but I think what Karen keep that in her back pocket for, okay, when she, okay, I'll just say, I can't even say if, but when Robin comes incorrect at her, and there's nothing wrong with that, because especially if you see how Karen has handled herself over the last 2 seasons, like even with the whole Michael and Ash thing, she never brought that up until at her. So just throwing it out there. All right. So the girls on the farm. The family is showing pictures of Karen, which is sweet, but that shit can be embarrassing. Ashley helps Karen with the harvesting of the corn. Obviously, Giselle last one getting up there to do shit. Monique calls and calls at her speakerphone. And, and I'll say this: I think when Monique realized that she was on speakerphone, because it was very obvious that she was on speakerphone, I think she should have really curtailed what it was that she was saying, but she didn't. But she says that she felt drained and she's still on edge. And Monique said that if it wasn't her having that spat with Candace, it would have been someone else. And Giselle walks away because she doesn't believe that. But I understand exactly what Monique is saying. In general, like with everything that's going on with all those girls, you do, in some groups and some elements, there is always someone who is, constantly habitually pushing someone's buttons and always has people on edge. So I can understand, well, hell, if I didn't get into it with it, somebody else was going to. Would have necessarily gotten physical, who the fuck knows? But I understand that. Well, Giselle says, Giselle feels away and says that Candace should have pressed charges that night. Karen says that, well, she had told Candace that since she feels the way she feels so strongly, that if it was her, she would, look into the legal route. And Ashley asked her if Monique knows, because Ashley feels that, ooh, that's shady. And Ashley being Ashley, based off of the previews of how it was spliced together, Ashley's going to be the one to carry that bone. But Karen says she believes that she does, but if not, she's going to talk to her about it, and that's going to be that. I just think that Ashley's probably going to get to Monique first. And Giselle, just goes on and on about Monique being a liar, and Karen whole thing is like, look, it is what it is. I'm not, like, they are where they are. I'm trying to stay out and just be there for my friends. Wendy meets with her sister Ivy, who is a surgeon, talks to her sister about not wanting to be a professor anymore, but focusing on her political commentary. But the messed up thing is she does not necessarily have a plan and is trying to figure out how to go about talking to her mother about this. Now, Beautiful Soul Speaks did a live breaking down, and I think it was two separate lives because one was bringing up the fact that someone from Wendy's husband's side of the family blasting her for being in debt and the family being cursed. And then in a subsequent live, because she went and did her research about that particular curse and broke it down. And pretty much what I gleaned from that is, you know, because because the family is, quote unquote cursed. I don't know this to be a fact, but because they are cursed and now they're ostracized from the community, her mother probably pushed the academia much more harder because having, two doctors, kind of puts her into a higher esteem. And that could be the thing where her identity rests within her children. Could be. Don't know. I will do my best to tag those two lives and y'all can go back and check it out. If I forget, please just let me know and I'll put it in the description on the comment section. But y'all can look there for that if you care. But yeah, Winnie doesn't have a plan, and that's that. I already talked about Robin, and I forgot to mention Robin's name was Tatiana. Juan said his name was Dylan. Didn't even try to change up his name, but it is what it is. And yeah, the shit was cringy if I didn't already say that. So let me see. So the parade happens. Giselle is in her feelings because she can't be a part of, the actual parade and, be in the car with Karen, but has to be off on the side. And, even throughout this episode, Giselle has made some very not so good remarks about the people from that part of Virginia where Karen is from, saying that she imagined all of them, wearing a hat, weed in their mouth, overalls, all this other stuff, very stereotypical, very classist comments and whatnot. And, even making comments about, I guess, Karen, someone having like an elitist personality, which that isn't the case. I mean, her family, bought the land that, their family, and I guess they've had in the family for 100 years, so you can do that math, but her ancestors were slaves, were able to pull together their money to buy that land. So not only do they own that land, they have owned it for 100 years. So one, they have this property, not just that, I believe she said soy, peanuts, wheat, rye, and barley. I believe she said a lot of what is seen in the grocery stores, I'm guessing she's saying in Virginia, is coming from that farm. And I actually have a friend that works on a farm. And they do outsource to restaurants and to grocery stores. And if you pay attention in most grocery stores, they do tend to bring in food from the local farmer. So I understand that. So having this, yeah, it does, make you feel good about yourself. And Karen said in her confessional, well, you want the word of the street in New Orleans, so you can't talk about nothing over here. I hollered. Is there anything? Oh, and one other thing I want to make mention of is Ashley made mention of the parallels between her and what's the girl name? Karen's situation, where with both of them, the girls that their respective husbands have married are no longer those girls. So the women that they are now is not the girls they were when they married them, and the strains of having to deal with that. And I kind of look like, damn, that's good to be able to, not only be able to look at someone else's situation, but also be able to look at yours from an outside point of view. I don't necessarily feel that Giselle's the person to talk about that too, and then Giselle's trying to offer advice, which she can, but kind of given what you're doing right now, and then it's coming out, via social media that which we all knew this, but this relationship that she's been pushing out between her and Jamal has been strictly for TV. So who the hell? Okay, oh, is this in person? Oh, okay, hold on, I'm gonna get back. All right, so Candace and her mom, they go to a dog adopted place. Candace compares a dog to a child, and though I can see where she's going with that, those are two totally different things. Two totally different things. I say that because I grew up having a dog, which very, very soon I am going to get me a dog, hopefully a Rottweiler, don't judge me. And also at the age of 5, I was helping to not only watch, burp, feed, change, tutor, mentor my cousins and my nieces, at the age of 5. And I can clearly tell you, just dealing with that is two totally separate, different things. So it's cute that she's trying to equate it to that. Two totally separate, different things. It really is. But having the dog first and then following with the child is a beautiful thing, because that dog is going to not only be protective of her, but it's going to be protective of that child. So, I mean, it is a beautiful dynamic. Her mom feels that, because what's crazy is, all right, Candace had mentioned that Monique doesn't feel any remorse for any of what's going on. So her mother, in turn, said, well, since she feels there is no consequence, this is the point that we talk to an attorney. I don't like how that was set up. And then her mother even going about it, saying, well, who does that and who does this? But this is the same woman that sat here and hit her daughter with her pocketbook. Like, come on now. Let's not do this. Let's not. Let's not. And then even try to defend her actions, say, oh, well, she just ran into it. Like, what type of abusive bullshit of, oh, my man hit me. Oh no, I ran into the door. The fuck? Anyway. And I wish with the editing, what we saw with Candace and her mother would have been simultaneous, and I'm guessing that these two things didn't necessarily happen at the same time, but I'm pretty sure they happened around the same time. But Candace, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't jump. I'm out of context. Finish this off real quick. My bad. Karen is at the church where she grew up. While there, she gives the girls, the background, and even said that, her parents, obviously their services were done there. They passed, if I'm not mistaken, within 7 months of each other, and that's difficult, which I can understand that. My mother's parents literally died within a month of each other. In 1996, my grandfather passed away right before Thanksgiving. My grandmother passed away, let me see, several days after Christmas, I believe on the 27th actually of December. And this is my mother losing her parents, my grandparents, where we lived in the same building. I'm actually back in the apartment that I grew up in. My mother is actually currently residing in the apartment that her parents grew up in, but I'm back in the apartment that I grew up in. But I can understand how that can be rough, and she had to take a moment to go and let out some tears. But what I found to be so interesting is seeing that scene and seeing how Giselle and Ashley were not picking up on the cues, because like I said, I don't know Karen from a can of paint, but just seeing her talk and you can hear it in her voice, you can tell that the break was coming. I had this break back when I was in the military. When my father passed away, I did not come home initially because I had soldiers that I had to make sure were okay, and I'm having to let my soldiers know that my father had just passed away. And in the midst of telling them, literally the emotions were coming. I had to hurry up and leave, but you have some people that really don't pay attention to those cues. And maybe it's because I've been in that situation that I understand it, but I wish they would have tried to console her in that moment before she had to remove herself and cry off in a separate room. And Giselle says that she didn't know how much she was hurting. And I think that she was referencing how bad she went at Karen and her issues when it was very evident that she had just lost her parents, yet this woman is constantly going into her, but she never once said that. It's just that, oh, I didn't know how bad she was hurting. Well, how about you give, let me calm down. How about you give her an apology? But whatever. So Monique meets with her pastor. Monique retells the story from her vantage point up until the tipping point. And she says that she's not a hostile person. Monique describes Candace's current behavior, and the pastor lets her know that, your friends tend to be a mirror of yourself, and what is in your own heart. And people tend to say birds of a feather flock together, and it may not be that the friend embodies you completely, but there may be a part or fragment of your personality that exists within this person that you share that. Because like I said, I'm a very multifaceted person. I exist in different groups where the role that I play in each group is completely different. But in each of these groups, it is a certain part of me where it's like with that group, that part does exist there. So I understood that. The pastor said that she has been a fighter since he known her, and she's been fighting from being bullied up to having to prove herself to people. She's been in survival mode. And she says that she doesn't, no, I'm sorry, he says to her that she doesn't talk about a lot of what's going on. And I think that right there was a very important piece where, and I understand that because especially while I was in the service, I didn't really talk to a whole lot of people about what I was going through and a lot of my different issues, because one, it's hard as a service member to sit here and try to talk to family about it, especially those that aren't there, because now you got to sit here and try to break everything down just so they can get it. And sometimes you don't want to burden that person with it. And then with me being in aviation is so damn cutthroat where you can't, like, you have to be very cautious of who you share personal things with, because you can sit here and tell somebody something. You look up this person and ran with it, put 20 on 10. Both of y'all are up for promotion. And because they want the promotion over you, they didn't sit here and blast at you. And now you looking like, damn, with egg on your face. So I understand it. And sometimes when you don't have a way to release it, because sometimes talking through some shit is a form of release, but when you don't have that, things do tend to build up, and that's kind of what was going on here. And the pastor asked her, but what was the trigger? And let me see. And he even said that it's not Candace's fault, but it's something inside of her, and really trying to get her to come to the root of it. And Monique says that, there was pressure that has built up, and that had nothing to do with her, which is Candace, and that she did not deserve that. And I guess she means the ass whooping that was given to her. Big Chris says that he needs to reach out to Little Chris, because, like I said, they was cool, and, he felt bad that he hasn't done that yet. And then Monique says that she needs to talk to Candace. And that's where it ends. Now, here's the thing. I do stand by what I said in terms of Candace had a part to play. And here is the reality. And some people don't understand this, especially for those who have blown up on people, whether it be verbally or physically. There are some times where, because I've had it to where I am dealing with a lot of shit and shit has come out, and somebody up and said something to me now. And the thing is, probably on a different day, I probably would have said some smart shit, but wouldn't let it go. But because I'm already dealing with a lot, and you just put the last load on it, the stronger broke the camel's back. What I'm giving to you, you don't deserve all of that, because you probably deserve only a portion of it. And again, I know this happened a lot. Me being in the service, where because I had to play things from a political standpoint, I couldn't like the PFC Thomas and everything. That motherfucker, yeah, I said what the fuck was on my mind. I ain't fucking care. Obviously, as I mature and gain rank and whatnot, I earned rank. Let me not say gain, because I earned everything I got. But when you're dealing, and my issues always with superiors, never with the lower enlisted. And obviously, some people, they get some break on their chest, they feel they can sit here and say whatever the fuck they want to you. And me having to sit here and be in control and like, okay, this probably isn't the right time, place, or whatever to, have the conversation that needs to be had. Because I don't care what your rank is. If I got an issue with you, I'm going to let you know. And I've done that sometimes to my detriment. But because I'm waiting for that perfect opportunity and I'm still carrying that load, people have said something. And because I'm already tensing on one, because I probably haven't had the chance to really work through it or vent to somebody. Yeah, I didn't sit here and cursing people out and all this other shit. And yeah, some people, yeah, they did not deserve everything that they got from it, but hey, it was what the fuck it was. So I do understand it. It's just sad that once Monique had this breakthrough, she wasn't even able to go and talk to Candace because, hey, Candace had enough people in her ear and it was what it was. So yeah, that's my review. Let me know how you guys feel about it. And yeah, let's keep the conversation going in the comments. So please rate, comment, subscribe, and share. And the next video y'all will see of me will more than likely be some Pokemon Sword. Is it Sword or Shield? I forget which one I'm going to play. One or two, but whatever. But you'll see that gameplay. All right, holla back. Peace.